The future has finally arrived. We are talking about the insane electric planes. But does the new electric plane concept have the potential to help our planet to recover? How will it affect the efficiency of flight? We'll find out soon. While every sector is going through some massive changes to aid in reducing environmental damages to our planet, aviation was a little indifferent. But finally, we can witness the commercial and public use of electric planes. Will it change the future of travel? To know everything about the new emergence of electric planes, stay tuned till the end. Welcome to Futured. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for everything on future technology. Let's get started. The aviation sector has grown at a dizzying speed, making it one of the fastest growing sources of carbon dioxide. However, airplanes were vital to the economy in several ways throughout the mid and early 20th century, including imports, exports, tourism, and commerce. Everything we do, from the food we eat to the things we buy to the way we travel, releases greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, affecting the planet's temperature. Yes, you and I are responsible for damaging the Earth. Directly or indirectly does not matter. In the same way, aircraft contribute to global warming, pollution, and a large carbon imprint. Airplanes use kerosene fuel, which emits a substantial amount of carbon dioxide and other gases into the atmosphere when burned, affecting the climate system significantly. Furthermore, the high rate of fuel burning increases carbon emissions, which has a direct impact on ozone layer loss, and as a result, global warming happens. While many industries are starting to cut emissions, aviation has continued to expand. Between 1990 and 2012, the aviation industry's carbon emissions increased by 75%. They are predicted to continue to expand at a high rate through 2050. If left uncontrolled, they might absorb a fourth of the carbon budget set aside to keep global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Aviation is responsible for around 2.4% of worldwide CO2 emissions. The aviation sector, together with other emissions and water vapor trails created by airplanes, is responsible for around 5% of global warming. At first look, that may not appear to be a significant contribution, except that only a small proportion of the world's population flies regularly. Even in wealthier nations like the UK and the US, around half of the population travels each year, with just 12 to 15% being regular flyers. However, as public awareness of the need to decrease our individual and collective carbon footprints to avert climate calamity grows, pressure on many companies to find long-term solutions has increased. In October 2016, 191 nations signed a United Nations Accord aiming to decrease global aviation carbon emissions to 2020 levels by 2035. Another ambitious target of the accord is for aviation to cut carbon emissions in half by 2050 compared to 2005 levels. Environmentalists want to persuade people to forego flying in favor of less environmentally friendly activities. Many environmentally minded organizations are supporting the flight shaming campaign in the hopes of persuading holidaymakers to modify their plans and forcing airlines to use more environmentally friendly fuel sources. Is this flight shaming strategy, however, genuinely effective? You would be pleased to know somehow it is working. The travel sector is under growing pressure to cut and eventually eliminate emissions, but it will be difficult. Some options, such as hydrogen fuel cells, show promise. Companies are left with a few alternatives: make modifications to wring out efficiency, wait for technology to develop, or spend now to help create viable future possibilities. We all know that one possibility is electric planes. The future of electric planes is always on the horizon when the airline industry speaks about lowering its carbon impact. Two French army commanders tried to use electricity to drive an airship in the late 1800s, but they ran into complications when the battery couldn't contain enough energy. For the following 100 years, this would be a recurring issue. The first aircraft with an electric motor took off when nickel-cadmium batteries were produced, although it only lasted 15 minutes. Then came the invention of lithium-ion batteries in the 1980s. They could store more energy than ever before, allowing planes like the Solar Impulse 2 to take to the skies. Starting in 2015, the solar-powered aircraft flew around the world for 16 months at a speed of 28 to 34 miles per hour. Fully electric flying for big planes was still a few years away. If today's batteries were used in a jumbo airplane, 1.2 million pounds of batteries would be required to provide the same amount of power as the jet engine it would be replacing. This weight would necessitate the use of an additional 8 jets merely to transport it. That's huge. Due to technological limitations, electric plane batteries are currently significantly less efficient than jet fuel. Larger batteries have been used to compensate for this inefficiency, but this has resulted in highly heavy vehicles that are ill-equipped for long-range travel. Overcoming the constraints of battery technology is, therefore, a major emphasis for electric plane research right now. Around the world, both commercial firms and governments are starting with what has worked in the past. Though long-range electric aircraft flights are still decades away due to technological restrictions, short and mid-size electric aircraft built provide a more environmentally friendly and cost-effective alternative to short-range air travel. Major airlines have mainly abandoned shorter-distance, small-city routes. Only 2.5% of the more than 20,000 FAA-approved runways in the U.S. are now operational. In the long run, electric aircraft might help lower the airline industry's carbon footprint, which accounts for around 2% of global CO2 emissions. Each electric plane in the works is unique, but they all have one thing in common. They're aiming for flights of less than 500 miles. While the distance may not appear to be great, these short-range electric planes have the potential to tackle a key travel issue. In 2018, just under half of all aviation tickets sold worldwide were for trips for less than 500 miles. Yet instead of utilizing short economical planes designed for these shorter routes, we instead employ expensive airliners made to go thousands of miles. These planes are most economical when they can cruise for an extended length of time. However, during a 50-minute journey, these planes move up and back down. A 109-mile trip from Los Angeles to San Diego now generates around 110 pounds of CO2. Sooner than you think, you might be boarding an electric plane. The first significant airline rollouts are scheduled for 2026 with the United, while nations such as Denmark and Sweden have stated ambitions to eliminate all domestic flights using fossil fuels by 2030. The aviation industry has moved closer to achieving the objective of commercially viable electric aircraft in the last year. United Airlines said in July that it will purchase 100 zero-emission 19-seater electric planes from Swedish startup Heart Aerospace, which will begin flying short-haul routes in the United States in 2026. EasyJet's collaboration with U.S. startup Wright Electric has resulted in plans for the Wright 1, an all-electric 186-seat commercial passenger plane with an 800-mile range that is expected to begin service around 2030. Wright Electric also unveiled plans for an electric 100-seater, the Wright Spirit, in November with a 2026 release date. NASA has also been working on developing an all-electric aircraft. It has spent the last decade developing the batteries and design for the X-57, a two-seater plane that will aid in the development of the necessary technologies. The X-57 is expected to have a range of around 100 miles and a top speed of 172 miles per hour. The plane is undergoing high-voltage ground testing at the moment. While lighter, more powerful batteries are becoming more realistic for smaller electric planes with shorter ranges, bigger planes require more major battery breakthroughs or other breakthrough technology. As a result, the nascent sector is focusing on short-distance regional flights using smaller planes, which aligns with a significant portion of the aviation industry. Today, over half of all airline itineraries are fewer than 500 miles long. Electric planes are also proving to be more cost-effective for airlines, with lower fuel and maintenance costs. So what are your thoughts about this massive change in the aviation sector? Can we really bring a significant change in the environment of our planet? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. On that note, it's time to end this video. That's all for now. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to get updated with everything on future technology. Thank you for watching.